And good day. Well, today we have the Alexiev I-211. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that my cat decided that I didn't need to sleep as much as I needed to get up and tend to his needs, so I'm a little grumpy. Um, Part of it is to say that this plane has not made me happy. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about it and its history. This actually showed up and started design work with it and its stablemate that was worked on at the same time, the I-215. Now, this plane was noted for its being underpowered. So they try to put in some BMW 003s, 1,800 foot-pounds of thrust on it, and it was underpowered. Better than the SU-9, but it was underpowered. So they put in the Junkers Humo 004, 2,000 pound thrust per engine. And finally, and they flew it around a little bit, and they could get 590 miles an hour out of it. And it was inferior to. Now, this is supposed to be a fighter, by the way. Not, it had a couple of provisions for some bombs on it, but it was really supposed to be a fighter. And the MiG-15 outperformed it in every single fashion. So that was the end. And when it flew, when it landed on the runway, it hit a pothole which wrecked the undercarriage, and they took that time to go ahead and strip it out and put in a couple of English DeWitt centrifugal engines, and you get the I-215. Now, the 215 didn't become accepted either. But that's a video for another day. How this plays in the game. Poorly. Don't get me wrong. The 215 and this will do the job. And they hit pretty hard. But for me, when you're playing, one of the things that will quickly raise or lower my evaluation of aircraft are its guns. And this one has three 37 millimeters, which, by the way, is absolutely true of what the plane flew with at first. And then they were traded out with a pair of NS 23 millimeter. And you quickly find out the reason why. This was in the game, doesn't play very well with others. It's hard to hit with. It gets 5 rounds up before it overheats. And right now we are in the middle cycle of the upgrade. And so you have a multi-op fighter that it takes about 180 seconds, 3 minutes, to reload the two 550 pound, 250 kilogram bombs, which is not much of a load to begin with. So you get two 500-pound bombs, you get so-so cannon, you get so-so speed, and since its altitude is not comes to 4,900 feet, you get so-so altitude. Now you've heard me talk about the attacker, where everything is good enough. Just a teensy bit hair better than good enough. When you've got lots of areas in which an attacker is a great fighter, you got good enough guns, you have good enough turn rates, you have good enough altitude, you have good enough speed. Well, this is not good enough. You don't get much speed out of it. It's slow. With the bombs, you get 308 without the bombs on this in the mid-tier. You get 297 with the bombs at the mid-tier. The cannons hit okay, but they're not great. So they're only so-so in the ground attack role. They are not very good in the air-to-air role. It turns like a typical multi-role fighter bomber. Excuse me. I'm just going to use that term for now on. I hate multi-role. And when you look at this against, for instance, the F-84B, it's worse in every single parameter. The range on the guns, now with the next tier, by the way, before I go too far with this, the range on these guns is 2,000 meters, or I'm sorry, 2,000 feet, 800 meters. And when you get to the next one, you actually get some velocity out of these things, the NN37Cs. So that will change. And you still have an additional engine upgrade here, the TR-1A, which is what this thing actually flew with. So you get some more speed out of it. But generally, if you'll know when you run across the American counterpart to this, because it will turn rings around you and turn on 650 caliber guns, which will promptly eat your lunch. Sorry, but I know. I'm never going to lie to you guys. So far, the experience on this aircraft has been crap. All right. I've not enjoyed it. Really makes me wonder what they were thinking of. And I'm hoping that a successor and the third tier, I'm hoping the third tier will make this a better aircraft, so we'll report on it after the fact. But it is a rotten ground attack aircraft. It's a rotten fighter. You know, it's one of those things that you hope that you run across it when you're in something else so you can shoot it down. So I'll put up some footage on it later, but this is an aircraft and a line as it sits right now that I would just pass on. But we'll see. We'll give it some more time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll go on to the flight section here shortly. Bye-bye. All right, so we'll move on into the flight portion of it. And please don't get the idea that I dislike this nauseating piece of junk, or that I think it's overweight, underpowered, and absolutely has no role in the game. Because I do. Or that I don't think that this is the worst aircraft I've flown since the JU-88, or JU-87, excuse me. Anti-tank version. Because it is. The thing just seems to die for a role because I can't seem to think of a single other aircraft that doesn't outperform it in the same role. If you want a true multi-role, then go to the F-84B. If you want something as versatile as a fighter and great at taking down ground attack aircraft, then go with the J7W2. When you jettison the bombs over a target or you actually line something up, it is a far better aircraft than this thing. It's slow. It doesn't turn well. The guns don't hit very well. It doesn't carry enough of a bomb load to make it worth your time. And that is what you're seeing here. So you're looking around for something that's not going to eat your lunch. And I eventually get, just as you fly in the aircraft, you're trying to find some rationale for you to be in this flying piece of garbage. And you fail miserably. Now, World of Warplanes does have its occasional speed bump, and in this line, I'm going to say this is it. Now, I didn't find the entire line all that fun to go down. But here is something that it does pretty darn well. You don't take all that much, and there's your obligatory 5 shots. And you've taken away half the hit points off of a aircraft that's probably managing about 2,200 hit points here. All right. German BA, Tier 9, B2. And again. It does a fairly good job on that. And that's literally the only roll that I see for us. Put a pair of bombs on it. It's not going to slow it down that much. It doesn't move that fast anyway. Now, this is a bot flying a Javelin badly. I mean very badly. And if you were in almost anything else but a GA, this aircraft would have already been shot down. As this thing meanders around, turns circles, and does everything in a heavy fighter you shouldn't do. This is the epitome of a dumb bot. And about this time, I notice the aircraft is setting up, Javelin setting up to do an attack on me. I do go into a spiral to mess up his aim. Excuse me there. And again, you're too slow to catch him. And I can't begin to express the sheer frustration I'm feeling at this point as to what in the heck are you supposed to do with this aircraft. This has been the experience that I have had with this aircraft. And if I'm not clear enough, unless you really love the Soviet entirety line and you're just determined to go down all of it, this is an aircraft that I would avoid like the plague. I just cannot find a worse multi-role aircraft since the Ju-87. This thing is horrid. Absolutely horrible. Not worth the time, not worth the effort. I'm doing this to save you all from an experience, and if you do, don't complain to me because you've been warned. Stay the heck away from this aircraft. There's better times and better ways to spend your time in World of Warplanes than on this thing. This just needs to be yanked out of the lineup and the World of Warplanes to put something a heck of a lot more useful in. This is terrible. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.